Dry your tears, friends and neighbors. It's your old pal Stevie Coyle, back from music camp, where what happens at music camp stays at music camp. I had a great time. Thanks for asking. The California Coast Music Camp down in Carmel Valley, pretty custom deluxe. Lovely, warm weather, not too hot. I don't know who they talked to. They got pull. They got serious pull somewhere. The food was great. Taught a couple of classes on fingerstyle guitar. I highly recommend it. If you're in the sound of my voice, the California Coast Music Camp. Wow, what a great time. The second week is just finishing up this week. I had a spectacular time. Thank you very much. Sorry to have missed a couple of Fridays, but I got a great guitar to show you today. It's a Collings OM3, which means pretty fancy. Deluxe, which means extra fancy. Primo top woods, and really pretty. Tasteful, but pretty. And let me make sure we're happening here. Please enter and sign in, please. Let me know who you are and where you're from. That's always of interest. And checking. Looks like things are happening. Very good. All right. And we're live. Come on in if you would. There's 4 of you. Thanks for stopping by. This is Mighty Fine Guitars in the heart of the Tri-Cities area. La Marinda, Lafayette, Moraga, and Orinda call themselves La Marinda altogether. And I'm right downtown in Lafayette, right next to La Marinda Music, which has all the other musical instruments. I've kind of got the deal. We've got a deal worked out. I sell just the high-end acoustic guitars and the occasional mandolin, and they sell everything else, including some stuff just came in today. I don't know what's going to happen, but it was a very cool old ukulele. They're big on ukes over there. I still am kind of catching up. Some part of me still thinks that Tiny Tim killed ukuleles dead back in 1967 with Tiptoe Through the Tulips. But he did not. He certainly did not. And it's me that's behind the times. Before that, Arthur Godfrey killed ukuleles by Julius LaRosa, by firing Julius LaRosa on the air. What a jerk, man. And people ran away from him and his lovely styrene plastic ukes like crazy. So after the first death and the second death, 50 years later, they're back. And they got them next door. They got all kinds of cool ukes, including this one that just came in. Must be from the 20s, an old Portuguese ukulele, together with one of those 12-string Portuguese guitars, Portuguese mandolins. Wow. In a homemade box with all kinds of cool case candy. Little tiny tuning fork like this. And instead of strings, bare wire that you would string to both ends of this thing. Perhaps you've seen those Portuguese mandolins that have all the tuning happens up here on this array of tuners, and you tie it off down here at the bottom, and some people play those things great. I think there were a couple of fellows who were just in here and said, "Oh, fado music. We use that all the time in fado." I gotta look up fado. I know that much about it. So, welcome. Come on in. Do feel free to pass this along, to share this on Facebook. I'll be bouncing this over to Instagram pretty soon. But if there are any like-minded souls you think would enjoy some gabbing, some geeking, some nerding big time about guitars, acoustic guitars, high-end acoustic guitars, send them on over. You can do this now or later. Here's the guitar I wanted to show you. Perhaps you recognize it. It's been in the shop before. But it's back because the fellow who owns it. It's all consignment here. The fellow who owns it decided there was something else in the shop he needed instead. So he's going to put it back up on the block. It's still in great shape. It's a Collings out of Austin, near Austin, Texas. It's an OM body, kind of a Martin style body. Collings was one of those companies, along with Santa Cruz, along with some other medium-sized companies, that were really out to, at first, out Martin. And in a lot of ways they did, because they were much more hand-built, much less in the way of CNC machines and lasers and suction cups and robots spinning guitars around and doing all that stuff that happens with a lot of Martin guitars these days. They needed to go that route. Fair to them. The demand was huge. The smaller companies said, well, wait a minute, there's room for us. Collings is one of these. Let's build Martin-style guitars, very much to Martin specs. So this is an OM, same body size as a triple O. You want to write this down? No. OM is the same body size as a triple O. But the scale length, the distance between the bridge saddle and the nut on the low E string, is ½ an inch longer on an OM than it is on a triple O. The upshot being that for drop tunings, and I'll explain this later if it's of interest, it's pretty arcane and minutia. Typically, if you do any kind of drop tunings, drop D, drop C, Orkney, Dorkney, any of those drop tunings, a long scale guitar is going to suit you better because the intonation up the neck, especially on the low strings, will be better, and the strings will be less floppy. However, if you're a blues player and you want to be able to bend them strings around the way them blues players do, then you probably want the short scale guitar, that's the one that Clapton was playing. He was playing a guitar this size on that 1991 or 92 Unplugged album. He was playing a triple O because he was going to be doing some bending. A little less string pressure you're dealing with, and at a given pitch, a shorter string will be floppier than a long string. And you can quote me on that, whatever I said. So here it is. Lovely guitar. Indian rosewood. This is primo stuff. There's Indian rosewood, and then there's the deluxe model that Collings makes. This is primo, super straight grain, absolutely gorgeous, terribly regular, and this guitar has been kept in great shape. It got sold a couple of years ago out of this shop, and it's still in fantastic shape. The top is Sitka with lots and lots of very even silking going across it. It means extra stiffness, which means extra thinness, which means extra resonance. I just restrung it. I was saving my ears for that. It's still going. Lots of sustain. This one I think is extra cool. I think this is the cutaway. I've had a cutaway guitar for years and years. I, of course, don't know what it would sound like if it wasn't cutaway. But it's been my experience that cutaway guitars do not lose sound for having been cut away. Especially Martin-style guitars, where up here you've got the fingerboard pasted down to the top. They're glue-on necks. Instead of bolt-on necks, they're glue-on. So this the fingerboard extension gets glued to the top, inhibits, vibration there. You're mostly depending on the lower bout to generate sound, and the back and sides, of course, too, as well. How's it go? I gotta put that back together. I've forgotten about that. That's a good intro to While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Very popular ukulele song as well. We were talking ukes. Like that. wonderful guitar. Going to be in the mid-6s somewhere because it's in fantastic shape. It's the deluxe model. It's the 3, which is up the scale. It's the deluxe model, so it's got a little extra coolness to it. Super premium woods. And it sounds like that. I should strum it. I'm such a fingerstyler. I'm so parochial. I'm so sorry. Hang on a sec. Let me get a pick, and I'll strum the doggone thing, because you want to hear that as well. There we go. Num, 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 num. Bright, but lots of punch in the mid-range, lots of boom in the bass. This reminds me why I was a Collings man for years and years, touring with Menudo, my previous band. I played at Collings for years and years, and the only reason I gave it up is because the Precious came along. The Alan Perlman guitar that I had to have, and that I has, as expensive as it was, has saved me so much money over the years, especially being in harm's way in a shop like this. That guitar is the sound I hear in my ear when I think of guitars, so I don't need to buy any more. But I had a Collings for many years. It was a wonderful guitar. 000 12 fret. I'm not overdriving the mic. Am I overdriving the mic? I should have asked a while ago whether or not the sound was good today. It varies. I don't know what it is. Sunspots, temperature. It's 90 plus here in Bucolic, Lafayette. Oh, the shop is air conditioned. Just come on in. Just want to let you know that. Comments and questions. Here we are. Hi, Ken. Yeah, Chris, add another wow. Oh, classical gas. Yeah, thanks. Sort of. David Martin, hello there. Danny Ide, very good. A fellow Salinan. Hi, John Green. Ken Bushy, Laura Zucker. Hey, Laura, don't hesitate to tout your upcoming event. I hope it's upcoming. It was upcoming 2 weeks ago when I was in town. It may have already passed. Your show with the folks down the way here. Steve Kahn is here. Yeah, Laura. Wow, exactly. Hugh O'Connor. Dan, howdy from Chico. It's Chico-like weather here today, Dan. We're going to get up above 100 today, I bet you anything. Oh, hey, Bunny. That's right. Bunny Barnes. Folks, tune on in. Click on Bunny Barnes here when you're done here, and head on over and listen to her show, 3 o'clock Eastern, and, at 4 o'clock. A threefer at 4 o'clock Eastern. Jerry Cross, welcome. Janine Heath, fellow camper. Good morning, campers. All right, Glenn Elvig, very good. Danny Santos, Mike Nipper. And Nelia White, very, very good. I'll play it a little bit more, just so you can hear what it sounds like, because that's the main thing, isn't it? It's in great shape. I have forgotten what year this is. I got to look it up. This just kind of came in. I've got to look up what the year is, but it's in great shape. It's like a brand new guitar. And it is a joy to play. joy to play. Collings OM3 DLX. Mighty fine guitars. Friday noontime webcast. Stevie Coyle. All y'all, thanks for tuning in. Do hit me up with any comments or questions down on the crawl here. I'll be posting this over to Instagram real soon. Thanks for hanging out for a couple of weeks. I was off at camp. I had a great time. I'm all mosquito bit, so I got through the whole thing without bleeding. I'm just want to scratch everything right off. So have a happy summer. It's hot. Be careful out there. Heat is nothing to mess with. I fried my adrenals at the Winfield Festival in Kansas one year. Never been quite the same since. Fried my adrenals. I've never said those words in that order before. Kind of tasted weird. All right then. Safe travels out there. Stevie Coyle signing off from Mighty Fine Guitars. Questions, comments down below. I'll make sure and get to them pronto. Thanks a lot. People are banging down the door here. See you next week, Friday at noon. So long, folks.